There's a difference between the leader and the manager. I want to give you those differences very quickly. First of all, the manager administers, but the leader innovates. The manager is more concerned about administering policy. A leader is more concerned about innovating things that never happened before. Number two, the manager is a copy. They imitate people, but the leader is an original. They keep changing on you. Thirdly, a manager maintains the status quo, but a leader develops new things. A manager, therefore, doesn't want to rock the boat. They like to keep things the way they meant it. They like to focus on following the rules. Leaders break the rules. Managers don't want to upset anyone. Leaders upset everybody all the time. Number four, the manager focuses on systems, following the book, following the policy book, following the traditions. That's a manager. But a leader focuses on people. They're more concerned about whether the people are growing, whether they are expanding, whether they are developing. Number five, the manager relies on control. The leader inspires people to trust her or him. When anybody wants to control your life and tell you what to do, when to do, how to do it, that's not a leader. That's an insecure manager. True leaders don't control people. They inspire people. Leaders don't control people. They inspire people to want to do great things and to trust in them. Number six, the manager has a short-range view of life, but the leader has a long-range perspective. They see beyond the present. Number seven, the manager always asks the wrong questions. Questions like, how are we going to do this? And when is this going to happen? That's how managers talk. A leader asks different questions. Leaders ask questions like, what are we doing and why are we doing this? So managers want to know how we're going to pay for it. The leader wants to know, why are we doing it in the first place? So it's important to see the way they think differently. I can always tell a person who is a leader, they're not concerned about how much things are going to cost. They're concerned about getting it done. And they believe it's going to get done no matter how much it costs. A manager is always trying to figure out how we're going to get the money, where we're going to get it from, who's going to pay for this. That's why you should never have a manager leading an organization. When a manager is in charge of anything, it will never grow. And there are many people in leadership who are not leaders, they are glorified managers. That is also true of countries as well as of organizations. You don't want to put a person at the head of an organization who has a manager mentality. So you must check constantly to see if you are a manager or a leader. Number eight, the manager has his eyes always on the bottom line, but the leader has his or her eyes on the horizon. The manager always wants to know, how are we doing and how much are we making? What's the profit margin? The leader thinks differently. He thinks on where are we going in the next 10 years and what are we going to be achieving in the next 40 years. They see the future. Number nine, the manager imitates, but the leader originates. These are not leaders, these are imitators. They don't have a voice, they have an echo. A true leader doesn't follow fashion, they create it. So a manager imitates, but a leader originates. Number 10, the manager accepts the status quo, but the leader always challenges it. Leadership is about change. It's not about maintenance. Managers maintain things. Leaders change things. Managers are always wanting to make sure they follow the line. They stay with tradition. They don't upset what they meant there. That's a manager. A leader will ask questions like, why are we still doing this? This ain't working no more. And a manager would say, yeah, but that's the way it's been for 40 years. The Archbishop put that in place 30 years ago. The Archbishop is dead. A leader is not afraid of ignoring history. Why? They're too busy making history. So true leadership is not about the status quo. It's about challenging the boundaries. Number 11, the manager is really just a classic soldier. They obey orders. Yes, sir. No, sir. Right, sir. Sir. That's a manager. A leader is their own person. They will follow their passion. They will pursue their purpose, even if you disagree. That's a leader. They don't wait for your approval. They believe in what they're doing at the expense of friendship. Are you willing to lose friends because of your purpose? Are you willing to lose family because of your purpose? Leaders are their own person. They don't try to be accepted by everyone. Number 12, the manager does things right, but the leader does the right thing. Two different concepts. The manager focuses on doing things the right way, even if what they're doing is no longer valid. But the leader wants to know, are we doing the right thing? So there's a difference between the way the leader thinks and the manager thinks. An army of lions led by a sheep They'll always be defeated by an army of sheep if they are led by a lion. What's the paradox? The principle is the followers will be determined by the quality of the leader. True leaders can transform cowards into warriors. A true leader can transform frightened, intimidated people into fearless, bold people. The leader can do that. Never blame the followers for the condition of the organization. Can I say it again? You're not listening. I said, if the organization is not succeeding, you don't blame the followers. Have you noticed that when a football team loses, you never fire the players? Who do you fire? The coach. Because ain't nothing wrong with the players. You bring a new coach in and the same team that was losing begins to win. If your people stop growing, it's because you stopped growing. If the people stop dreaming, it's because you have stopped dreaming. And so if you want to be a great leader, you must be like the lion. You must inspire people to greatness. Think of the lion. Here's a paradox of the lion. The lion is the leader in the animal kingdom. Now, what makes the lion a leader? This is a mystery to me. First of all, the lion is not the tallest animal in the jungle. He's not the strongest animal in the jungle. He's not the most powerful animal in the bush. The lion is not even the biggest animal in the bush. He's not the most intelligent. As a matter of fact, the chimpanzee is more intelligent than the lion. The elephant is much more intelligent than the lion. So the lion is a mystery. He's not the biggest, the strongest, the tallest, the most powerful, and not the most intelligent. And yet, he's the leader. That means if you are not the biggest person in this room, or the tallest, or the strongest, or the most powerful, or even the most intelligent, you can still be the leader. Why? Because the lion destroys all of your excuses for not being a leader. Don't you ever again tell anyone you cannot be a leader because you are not smart, or you are not strong, or you are not big, or tall, or powerful. The lion cancels your excuses. So the question then is, what makes the lion the leader? How can you be a leader if you ain't the most powerful, or the strongest, or the tallest, or the most intelligent? One word: attitude. Your attitude is what makes you a leader. Attitude, therefore, has more to do with leadership than skill, or power, or size. The elephant is more powerful than the lion. The bull is more forceful than the lion. The giraffe is taller than the lion. And yet the lion eats all of them for lunch. Why? Because of attitude. A leader is distinguished from a follower by their attitude. A leader has a sense of confidence that influences their environment. When a lion shows up, all the other animals are nervous. He's a small little cat. The elephant is a monster. But when the lion shows up, the elephant is nervous, which means that attitude is more powerful than size. So what we have to learn today is, where does attitude come from? Let me put it this way. Attitude is natural. You cannot fake an attitude. Attitude controls behavior. Your attitude, therefore, comes from what you think. Attitude, therefore, has more to do with your belief about yourself than it has to do about your skill and your ability. How do you move from being a fearful little black boy to advising the Prime Minister of Israel? It's not difficult. I had to go through what I call a mental transformation. I had to see my life from a different perspective. I discovered that leadership had more to do with my self-discovery than it had to do with trying to control people. Write this down. True leaders never control people. True leaders control themselves. Now, every person in this room was created to be a leader, but not over people. Can you write that down? Leadership is not about controlling people. True leaders, I'm talking about true leaders now, never control people. They had no interest in controlling people. They were more concerned about discovering themselves. And that's why their attitude is so different. The lion doesn't try to compete with any other animal. The lion is too busy being himself. Can I put it this way? Attitude is a product of belief. That means what you believe determines your self-confidence. No one can live beyond the limits of their belief. In other words, you are exactly what you believe. No more, no less. I tell people all the time that your life is simply what you've been thinking it is. I remember when I wrote my first book, I thought only people from Europe could write books and give it to black people in third world countries. When I wrote my first book, I told the publisher, put my picture on the cover. He said, why? I said, just obey me. He said, why? I said, because I want black people to see that